Alright, looks like we're live, which is a nice change compared to how I felt earlier in today. Felt quite unwell. A whole batch of vertigo came crashing down on me amongst everything else. Just the sort of fun that you want. Yeah, I was going to pop the chat out so I can actually see what people are saying. Hey there, Mr. Stamps. Hi, Marv. Major hardware channel, he has several models he shows off. I guess I'm sort of like looking for someone who uses them for bits and pieces that I would typically use. I'm looking for a real world type opinion, for someone to actually use them as opposed to someone who reviews them, if you know what I mean. Sort of, you can get a bit of a difference between, I don't know, maybe I'm being prejudiced. Anyway, we've got a 1502 that supposedly won't go beyond 0.6 gigahertz or something on the CPU, so that's a little weird. There's Samir and Gary. Like Graham from Adam and IT, he just printed out a collet or a spacer for the LED ring light that I sent him. And it's pretty good, you know. It's obviously, you can tell it's 3D printed, and the scaffolding and all that sort of stuff is pretty coarse, but it does the job. And yeah, that's sort of kind of what I'm looking for. Just bits and pieces, jigs, you know. Alrighty, okay, I can already see we're gonna have some fun here. We've got a puffy battery, so that's not a good start, unfortunately. And we have got a modified NVMe situation. Now look, I don't know, it's a Kingston brand NVMe, so it's okay that. This is a 2015 model, the 4924 board. You can tell that it's the 2015 model by the fact it's got a metal shield here and a metal shield over the RAM. So I don't know how much that's coming into play. It probably isn't actually at fault. The paste looks new. I'm missing a screw for the actual, 2 screws for the fan assembly itself, like the metal plate that goes on the fan. It's kind of interesting. If I had to blame something straight off, I'm going to go for the battery, but we're going to check the board anyway. It's got replacement speakers in as well, which is very normal for the 1502. 1502s and 1398s, they basically all have blown their speakers clean out by now, so they've all got to have replacements. Alright, we'll disconnect the battery and have a look. I've seen worse miles. Anyway, it's not going to be affecting the 0.6 gigahertz situation. Personally, for these machines, I do prefer the Transcend Jet Drive, the Jet Drive 820s and things like that. They're a very nice drop-in replacement. You don't have to do any modifications at all. No no adapters, no BIOS, EFI changes, nothing. Just put it in, it runs. It's very nice from my perspective to deal with that. I'm just going to take the whole board out and have a look. Let's see what we're dealing with. Hey, Ed Boss. And Dragunov. The main reason, I guess, Miles, I want it is because it will actually have a functional purpose here. It will be something that okay, the speaker was barely in. That is one of the problems with these speakers, is the connectors are just, they're not as nice as the genuine Apple ones. I find I often have to take them down just to get them to stay in the socket. I also did have my first MacBook M2 Air 13-inch come in today. Those things are fun. I can see a lot of them are going to get damaged by rough handling with the technicians, but I don't expect to see too many come in for liquid damage. I suspect if we're going to see anything with them, they're going to be just like failed caps or bad charges, things like that. But in terms of liquid damage, it's predominantly, that's going to be stopped by the keyboard or the trackpad, things like that. I don't think we're going to see a lot of those MacBooks coming in with actual liquid damage on the logic boards. Yeah, I don't know why that's missing those two screws there. Mysteries. Kopaz, yes I am. There's a website, inkstation.com.au, that I get a lot of my stuff from, like this labels and ink and toner and things like that. I don't even know what I should be looking at. Like if maybe I should get a multi-filament printer, as in it can handle multiple sort of things. I'll give you that website there. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just happen to have a pretty good run of success in terms of their deliveries are quick, their prices seem to be good. We're missing the shroud as well on that. So if there's something in amongst their collection that can be recommended, then I'm happy to have a look at it. Just trying to work out why this doesn't want to yet come out. There we go. Definitely the battery will be dragging this thing down. It could be causing it to have an SMC issues. Board wise it looks alright. I'm going to take the NVMe out. Is this stuck on? Oh wow, that's really jammed in there. That's scary. The amount of force that's being used to get that to meet up in the middle there is excessive. Yeah, that's seriously chewing into the... This is why I prefer, like I said, to go for things like the Transcend drop-in replacement NVMe drives. Not NVMe. Anyway, the direct drop-in replacement boards. So you don't have any of these issues. But, like I said, I don't think this is the issue. Probably might be easiest... Oh wow, yeah, so like someone's had some accidents here. We've got some chips out on the capacitors. Again, not really the issue, just we're making note of things as we happen across them. The fact that it's running so slow, this is a 2.78 board, like I said, does make me think there's a sensor problem somewhere. Yeah, maybe. I don't think it'd be the heatsink. Because if it was the heatsink, you would get a different kind of behavior. You would get decent running. Okay, we've got a little bit of corrosion here, but that's just in the trackpad main power, so it's not really likely to be an issue. Hey Christos. Most users have experience with Ender 3. Yeah, I've noticed the Ender 3 is that sort of whole range does come up frequently. So it's one that's been in my list. I guess I would like one that I really don't need to look at doing any upgrades on in the near future. Like if I can get something that will handle... Yeah, it's got a good extruder on it or something like that. Okay, yeah, there we go. We've got our corrosion right down there in the SMC. Found our fault. Hey Rilla, good to see you. Welcome back with your Wi-Fi. Yeah, that'll be our slowness problem. So yeah, looks like we've got an SMC job tonight. Celebrations all around. Everybody's going to be happy. SMC, SMC. Yeah, guess it will be. Like I said, it wasn't unexpected. When you have performance dropouts on your MacBooks, it's typically sensor or SMC issues. Alright, let's get to it. And hopefully I'll remember my technique for doing the SMCs properly again, because remember, I went through the drama the other week and I've probably forgotten everything already. Yeah, Lewis's impromptu repairs. Well, apart from the latest one that he did, which I think was obviously was a gimmick to stir up some attention, and it did work. He got 800 plus viewers on that. Very impressive. Smart thinking by Lewis. Using the right head. Anyway, it's good to see him back. I hope he doesn't push himself too much. Definitely when he streams, my channel in general starts picking up more viewers. Even if he doesn't explicitly mention, link me or anything like that, just him doing board repairs seems to increase my views. I guess, Miles, that's the thing, if you want the views, that's what some people will do. Cause the controversy. It's not something I would do, personally, but I can understand how it works. But then again, I don't have 1.5 million, 2 million subscribers either. I've only just clocked over 37,000. And I've been at this for 7 years. Okay, what's going on here? I don't have my full oomph. Hey Pedro. I know why I'm struggling. I've got the oversized nozzle on this because of the work I was doing earlier today. I was working on some CNC controllers, and they have some very large MOSFETs and IGBTs on them, which required quite a bit of heat to get off. Hey there, Pro Engineer. Well, I guess it depends if you've been trying to actually get anyone to watch your channel. Funnily enough, I've been doing YouTube itself for vastly longer, but it was all model aircraft stuff back then. Hey, Teresa. Yeah, just trying to work out which one I should get. Like I said, off the top of my head, I'm sort of looking at something from the Ender series, but I would like to get something that I don't have to 3 months later get a new extruder or something like that to deal with some need that I have. It's a little bit bumpy down there, so I might actually wick that up. Speaking of kitty cats, we've been letting our kittens out, monitored of course. Mind you, they're 6 months old almost, so they're getting halfway out of their kitten status. we just sort of got to try and do things bit by bit. There's a lot of different things we're trying to balance at the moment. We can't just sort of unleash the, let them loose and call it a day. Bamboo printers are exceptional, reliable, but are pricey. Hey there, Yanzimi. Pro Engineer, when you say pricey, what sort of mark are you talking about? Look, I'll be honest, and I was surprised how cheap 3D printers are in general. When you consider that when I was last looking for this kind of sort of stuff, I was looking for a laser cutter, and laser cutters are at the time with 3,000 to 5,000 starting price, and that was out of China, and that was like a big good luck to you, no support whatsoever type situation. 1,800, alright, yeah, that's a fair point, yeah. That cost us? Yeah, we're not going to go 3D metal printing. But yeah, a laser cutter is actually something that I probably would have more affinity for, even more than a CNC machine or a 3D printer. I have done a lot of work with laser printers in the past. Not laser printers, laser cutters. All my model aircraft stuff and previous acrylic casings and things like that. It's all laser cutter jobs. So I'm very comfortable with laser cutter work. It's a bit easier too because it's only just two-dimensional. Other than, of course, you got to fiddle around with your intensity settings and your speeds, things like that. You got to do some tweaking here and there, but for the most part, once you got your settings, and so long as the day temperature and everything else hasn't changed too much, it's pretty much a case of let it do its thing and away you go. Okay, you're going to give me an SMC? Why you have no SMC? Well, at least worst case scenario, we can do a SMC transfer from another one like a 3476. Yeah, let's try that. Oh, the Copas and Yate Computing. Get the Ender 3S1 Pro with Sonic Pad, which has a clipper firmware. Made a big difference. Hack inside. Why does that make a difference? A genuine question. I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything. I'm just genuinely curious. This board looks like it's been. We'll give it a go. It's not going to be a problem that this is a 3476 because we can just reflash the firmware once it boots. Hi, Mr. Cosgrove. And here we go. Copaz throwing a cat amongst the pigeons with the do not get acrylity. I mean, obviously there's going to be people who argue one way or another, but it depends on what they're doing. Like I said, I'm just sort of trying to do things like print a adapter ring for my microscope light, stuff like that. Wow, this is seriously botched job here. Clipper is fancy firmware. You can do a lot better prints and stuff. When you say a lot better, I mean, I'm presuming you're talking about like resolution and steps and the finish and all that sort of stuff. See, now I'm asking myself, would I be better investing money instead in something, an extruder, a first up package that has an extruder that will do multiple filaments, like different types, and then worry about the firmware later? You tell me. I don't think Creality was even actually on my list, like I said, unless these Ender ones are Creality, are they? You tell me. I see that Buddha console repair dude, computer Buddha. He got himself a 3D printer just recently, and he seems pretty happy with it. I think he paid up a fair bit for it up front, but he seems quite happy with how it came out. It's a bit like when you're getting into this sort of repair work. You can buy cheap hot air stations and whatever, but you ultimately got to upgrade to get any kind of work done. Hey there, Tom Morgan. Oh, MacBook Medic. Probably won't use different filaments. PLA plus and the occasional TPU is all that you use. Okay. How does the but I mean, like having a extruder that has like a worm drive or whatever and lots of temperature or thermal capacity, does that matter a lot? Or it's a little bit of an ugly SMC, to be honest. I feel a little bit prejudiced saying that. Axial motors, induction beds, extruders, gears. Prusa Mark III printed a Spitfire on your fly. Holy damn! Getting serious there. Like I said, for me, I'm not trying to make models or anything like that. Honestly, probably the most sophisticated thing I would make is, at least off the top of my head, is a holder for my rechargeable batteries, AA holder, AAA holder, things like that. One of the auto dispensing ones, because it's very annoying having all my batteries just sitting in a random box. I know I can buy them, by the way. I am well aware that you can buy those things pre-made, but I'm just sort of trying to give you an example of what my typical usage might be. Storage are very important. Storage is going to be a real problem for me in that case, I think. I don't do very good for environmentally controlled storage areas. Everything is just like, well, you got the room, so you're not going to get rained on, but that's about it. Oh, really, MacBook Medic? Yeah. Like, I've got about 20 or 30 of the Eneloop Pro AA batteries, and I have a system that mostly works, but it still is a pain. See, Teresa spent $250 on a Flexion extruder, and it did improve your prints, but the Ender didn't really need it as it could print TPU through Balvin. Okay. Oh, really, I agree. You know, if that's all I was going to do, I agree. But I can see that there would be other things that I know, particularly that I'm getting a little bit more into manufacturing. Like, you know, people are wanting the USB-C meters and the, the microscope ring lights and things like that. Speed isn't really going to be a problem for me. I'm more than content to just let something do its job. I don't plan on printing a lot Pro Engineer, and I don't plan to spend a lot of time on maintenance. There's one thing that my wife and I have discovered, and that is we are terrible when it comes to maintenance type situations. If something wants to survive with us, it has to be very robust. David, unfortunately there is no way that we know of yet to flash blank SMCs that you can get from AliExpress, which is unfortunate because I know they're available and they're cheap, but alas, we don't yet have a way. PCB way isn't more interesting financially for you? How do you mean by that? Keith, I'm sort of heading there, I guess. I'm sort of heading there. Hot swap SMC, that's a good idea. Sorry, I'm just cleaning the stencil. The stencil here is a good example of exactly what I'm talking about in terms of my maintenance behavior. Now I know that I should stick this into the alcohol bath immediately after I've used it, or wash it immediately after I've used it, but I don't. We're unfortunately very reactive type people rather than proactive for this sort of thing. Hey there, Catherine. Alright, well, we've got to set up our corner dots. Boop, boop, there we go, corner dot set. Yeah, what I also better do is actually change the nozzle on my hot air station. Like I said, I'm running the 10 or 12 mil nozzle at the moment, and it's a good nozzle, but it's just a little bit too big for this task. And at this point I discover my PH2 Phillips drive is... ah, there it is, found it. Trouble is, Macbook, yeah, I mean I used to do that sort of thing, but I don't actually ultrasonic that much anymore. I've kind of walked away from the ultrasonic cleaning for the most part where I can. I've even got one of those little tea strainers just for the sake of helping with the ultrasonic of those stencils. "3D printer needs to be maintained constantly." What is it about a 3D printer that needs to be maintained? Why do they need maintenance? I mean, other than cleaning, I'd imagine, with lots of spurulous strands of trash everywhere. Okay, our corners are on. Our focus is off. It's kind of weird on that focus. Okay, so what we've got, filament cleanup, fair enough. I mean, like I said, that's to be expected. And clogging, head clogging. So that's where the where my questions about the extruder come in. Like, I'd rather pay the extra for an extruder that is not going to push me into too much maintenance. Belt printers are a pain. Is that because you've got to keep adjusting the idle tension? Yeah. Perfect. So I don't imagine I'll be printing very often. Like maybe 2 or 3 times a month, if that. No, Miles, I'm actually pretty happy with doing it through the dispenser bottle that I have. I intentionally do it a good flooding. My air's a little bit high on this one, so I'm just going to cook it up a bit more. Put the nozzle. Yeah, I didn't get it hot enough again. I'm a little bit heat shy still. I mean, it's okay, it's working, but like I said, I was a little bit heat shy. It probably needed another 5 or 6 seconds on the heat so that none of them would even jump up. But it's worked out anyway, so no biggie. Resin printer is generally better. I probably won't go for a resin print on the basis of I need to be able to do things. I'll put screws through the assemblies and things like that. And I don't think resin, well, I don't know, I mean, I just suspect resin printers don't really work as well for that kind of end purpose. There we go, perfect SMC reball. Suck on that, all you naysayers. Right, okay, good. Okay, I'm glad to see that my understanding of resin has led me to make sure I didn't get it. Resin's bad for kitties, that's another good reason not to get it. What is that crap? That's how SMC reballing should go, and how it used to go for me, until I sort of lost the knack when I changed over to this Appen station. Just wait for that to cool off. Should be good. By the way, I deliberately didn't bother go searching for a 4924 because I wanted to have fun booting into the alternate SMC boot stick. and reflashing it just to show that it can be done. I'm just going to preheat this board a little bit. Hey, Xenon G. Okay, so resin's definitely out for multiple reasons. Okay, that's heaps of flux. Crap, which way is pin 1? Okay, pin 1's up there. Speaking of ventilation, I've been looking at getting a 10-inch extraction system now. I mean, the 8-inch works well, but I do feel like I want more. So I'm looking at getting a 10-inch extractor fan and assembly. The difficulty is finding a 10-inch carbon canister for them. I'm just going to drop the air down to about 40% on this. Because we've got leaded balls here, it should be fine. And for people wondering why I made a microscope ring light, one of the big reasons is that I can get the nozzle a lot more upright than you can with the other microscope ring lights. This is going to jump across soon. There we go. Doing its little dance. There we go. Yeah, I don't think I'll be going. I was never really thinking resin for what I was doing. John Klopp at the moment, I've got an 8-inch, 1,000 cubic meter per hour, I think it's, or something like that. With a HEPA filter and carbon filter combination. That's what I use for this workshop. But I want more. You know, I feel like I just need more filtering. I may get a separate HEPA scrubber for the room. We have one in for another room in the house, and it's a really nice unit. They're about $1,700 or something, but they're nice freestanding things. You just stick them in a corner of the room and it just scrubs the general air. They're Australian made too, Innovec or something like that, I think they are. The filter's a little expensive, but it's worth it. Oh geez, I did that with the damn with the... that was a bit risky. Good thing I didn't use excessive heat. Idiot. Are there a tax write-off? Yes, I could actually claim them as a tax write-off. You can look at Bamboo Lab. Relies on the cloud. Yeah, no, I'll probably pass. Anything that requires cloud, I'm not going to go for. I like stuff that can work offline without demanding a particular operating system, or it needs to just work with just the CAD files and nothing else. Cloud can suck it. Cloud's useful. I mean, I use the cloud for many things, like backing up my important data. But one thing I hate is when companies make you have to use the cloud just to actually even do anything. It's like, no thanks. And rain. There you go. Yep, clouds are good for rain. Yeah, I did actually read on Slashdot about all the 3D printers suddenly start printing away in the middle of the night. That was kind of amusing. Maybe it was Skynet trying to get started with the next wave of Terminators. Right, I better get the USB stick that allows me to do the SMC transition. It's one of these. You watch, it's probably not one of these. I probably haven't put it back in. Could have sworn it was one of these larger SanDisk ones. Oh, like I said, I've just left it lying around somewhere. I was looking for you, you little bastard. Does this mean I'm going to have to reflash one? Oh, look, this was my first USB-C current voltage meter. My first disappointment too. Sounds like Creality has been not recommended a couple of times here now. Just for me to check, Creality is not the same as Ender, is that correct? What the hell have I done with my SMC one? Oh, lo and behold, it's on the edge of the desk, rating there, ready to be used at a moment's notice if a MacBook needs it. Oh, well, that was fun. Ender is Creality. Oh, great. So now we've got people saying use Creality, Ender, and others saying not. Oh, stay away from the ones that use plastic wheels on T-slot. Okay. Alright. So, of the Creality Ender series, this, what is it, the S1 Pro has been mentioned. Oh yeah, don't rely on me to take care of anything. I'm a good tester. What Louis Rossmann does to my software, I do to things like my car, my utensils, my tools, things like that, okay? That's how I can give you a gauge. How big? Probably no more than 4-inch cube. That'd be about the limit of it, I would say. Okay, so we're going to use my USB-C to MagSafe 2 Dubidaka. You have a few choices. Fuse deposit printers, probably a bit much. Like I said, I'm not really doing any high-end stuff. Yeah, take a look at my tweezers. Mind you, I regrind these a lot, so... Okay. Just make sure we hold down the Option key on this one. Option. Hey Miles, it's better than throwing them out and getting new ones. At least I'm reusing them. Ooh, SMC FT. There we go. This is Murato's software. You can get this. Press any key. Oh, what happened here? That did not like it. What's going on? I might actually take that NVMe out. Even though it actually pains me to take this out for the fact that it's in so tight. Really, I think the problem why I won't use a 3D print service is because I still need to actually know that what I'm building. See, I would use there we go with that. I would use a 3D print service once I know that what I've designed works. It's a bit like when I do the prototypes of the circuit boards and stuff like that, kind of. I need something that I can rapid develop here. It doesn't have to be high quality, I just need to be able to construct it, test it, feel it, see that it's going to do what I need before I send it off to someone to say, look, print 1,000 of these. Because I mean, as it is, say with the circuit boards, there's about a 3-week turnaround, and it kills me that it's a 3-week turnaround. The boards only take 2 days to generate, but that delivery time is a killer for me, so I don't want to be dealing with that as well for things like these 3D mechanical contraptions that I need to make up. Yeah, and I can't, like if I want to use, say, FedEx or something like that, it's like $60. Ah, there we go. Type your platform and then press enter. Have I got the right one? Okay, Macbook. Oh, see, we've gotten fancy now. 820 4924 .nshell. It's flashing the SMC with the new data, and it is done. Reset -S to power off. Easy. Prusa Mark IV. Okay. You probably can, Arilla, but I'd still say I just know that because I already have to deal with such a time delay on my circuit boards, and for things like mechanical fittings and stuff like that, my experience based on when I used to do model aircraft with laser cutting and all that sort of stuff, and then acrylic frames and things like that, I just know that it will drive me insane. So I'm just going to go for, you're right, cost-wise, in terms of actual cost per unit, it's not effective. But in terms of time efficiency and turnaround, it's probably going to be worth it. Like if I spend $500 on a printer, then I'm still probably going to come out ahead ultimately. Okay, we now need the MacBook tester because we need to check a bunch of stuff. Like I said, once I've got it set how I want, then yeah, I'll get someone else to do. I'm not going to sit here and mass print things. Definitely not. I'll get someone else to do that. There's a local supplier for Prusa in Australia. Okay. Appreciating Mark IV is expensive. How's expensive, Teresa? Okay, USB booter. Quitty from ALI and be happy. I mean, with circuit boards, I guess I'm at the point now where most of the products that most of the boards that I design, I can sort of live with the 2 to 3 week turnaround, because most of the time I build in the ability to be able to bodge wire or work my way around an issue until the next board arrives. But when it comes to the mechanical casings and things like that, I want to be able to get it right here very quickly. Over 1,000. Okay, we're 84%. Okay, hardware monitor up. Let's see, we're running a 2.4. Actually, where the heck do I find out where my clocks... I never really bothered to check what the current clock speed is, but I'll check the system report. I think the battery's kind of hurting it. CPU, where are you? Yeah, where the hell's the CPU? Processor speed 2.7, 2 core. Wow, it's a 2 core i5. Wow, okay. Didn't realize. I thought these were 4 core ones, but they're not. Okay, well, we're running at 2.7, so that's pretty good. Let's run the Valley. If you plan to print ABS, I don't think so. Hello, Alex CMA, by the way. No, I don't think I'll be doing ABS. Just, I think PLA is pretty much it. Oh, let's not talk about Mr. Howard. Thank you very much. To be fair, I know this is going to very much upset some people. I am actually thankful that we moved over to the GST system. Trying to do sales tax the old way, and just tax in general for that sort of thing, was an absolute beeping nightmare. It wasted so much time. At least with GST, you slap the 10% on, shove it off to someone else. It's easier, it's quicker, simpler. I'm happy for it. And I'm not usually on that side of the fence, but I was happy for the introduction of GST. Some things I feel like shouldn't be having any GST on them. I think they've sort of made the brushstrokes a little bit too wide, and there are definitely a lot of products that shouldn't have that 10% on them. But for general sales and all that, I'm happier. By the way, Greg, it's a 10-day demo now, by the way. ABS, it may be better, but like I said, this is more for rapid prototype or maybe a random jig or something. It's not really going to be for what you might consider to be a continuous use end product. We're doing 30 frames per second. This is a 2015, by the way. 820-49-24. But yeah, this is running to spec. Yeah, sorry, Greg. It wasn't a complaint or anything. It was just I thought I'd better update you. I just thought I'd push it out to 10 days. because it seems like a lot of people are getting to the end of their 1 week trial before they really even had a chance to try it. So I pushed it out to 10 days, and that gets them into the next week, and then hopefully sort of the hook is in a little stronger for them. PLA will lose its shape above 60, not very Australian. Pet G, good middle ground. Okay, Pet G, you can use bottles for that, can't you? I've seen some people like just slicing up existing pet bottles. Alright, well, that is fixed. It's definitely not running slow anymore, so we'll shut that down. Yeah, like we're going to have FRP. PLA will lose its shape above 60, so... Don't do it though, it's oh, okay, alright. I will not overextend myself and do things I shouldn't do. You can get carbon fiber filaments, seriously? What, they just have like small, I'd imagine it'd be just chopped strands. I used to buy carbon fiber 12K ribbon, like 12,000 strands in the ribbon in great big spools of a kilometre or two long. And I'd sell that stuff by the metre or two to model aircraft hobbyists. It was a good margin. I made a decent amount of money on that. The only trouble was, a lot of the time, the suppliers of it, because this is before AliExpress was a thing, it was more just Alibaba, and that was it. They'd always be like, why do you only want 1 kilometre of it, you know? Buy it by the ton. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just sampling it. Just send me a kilometre to sample. I'll pay the full sample price. You know, I wasn't trying to get stuff for free. I was happy to pay, but the quantities was always the issue. Okie dokie. Well, realistically, I should actually wash this board because it did have corrosion on it. It is a 1502. Like, it's an earlier generation board, so washing it's not really going to be a problem. Yeah. Okay, we don't need that in there. Now I'm just going to test to make sure it boots back to its original form. Buy a container. Arilla, you meaning for holding all the goodies in it? Oh, Miles, you should know that Australia is the backwater destination for most stuff. We barely get anything here. Hey there, Vapor Chill. Jason, welcome back. It's interesting, Jason, because this is listing as a dual core only, but it's an i5 2.7, so I don't know why it's saying listing dual core. Oh, buy a container. Right, I get you now. Really, I get you. Yep, I understand. Thank you. You're right. Yes, they're like, you know, why don't you buy a whole container? Buy a whole pallet. You know, pallets sort of like the minimum quantity. MOQs. I used to hate asking them, oh, what's your MOQ? And they'd be, oh, a pallet or a ton or, as you say, a container. And you'd be like, yeah, can I get some samples? I'll pay full price. Okay, this is working. No problem. So basically for this we had an SMC failure with corrosion, which was really good to see because that's, you know, it's a smoking gun fault and it fits with what the customer was experiencing, as in it was just running like a sad sack of potatoes. And because I didn't want to look for a genuine 4924 board, and I know I've got plenty of the earlier boards, I took the SMC from the earlier board, knowing it would boot on this board still, and then put the SMC reflash onto it, and now we have a 4924 SMC without having to actually have had a 4924 board, so that worked out good. Alright then, well, I think that's it for tonight. It's almost midnight. I've got some programming to do. Thanks for sticking around, and thank you very much for everybody giving the feedback on the 3D printing. If you sort of want to summarize anything like that you really want to make a point of, just put it into the comments below. I'm more than happy to read them. I will read them, and we can have a discussion there as well about it. I probably won't be buying one immediately because there are a lot of other bills I've got to sort out, like fencing and fencing and cat food and fencing, and yeah, there's a lot of bills. So, but yeah, by all means, let's have a discussion in the discussion section below, and I greatly appreciate people putting forward their experience on 3D printing. I think it's going to be a case of trying to find exactly what I'm trying to do and finding what other people do, see if we can get a match. If I seem to discard your idea, it's not maybe so much that your idea wasn't any good or your suggestion wasn't any good, it was more a case of yours works for you, but it might not work for my scenario. So that's what I'm looking for, finding something that works for my scenario and trying to work out what my scenario is. So once again, thanks very much. I'll catch you all later. Until next time, you'll take care.